Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deeper into something we've been discussing consistently throughout 2025 and much of 2024, the internet computer. What started off as a project that many believe to be overhyped or even a scam has now evolved into one of the most technically advanced, forward-looking platforms in the decentralized tech space. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Always do your own research and consult a professional before making any investment decisions. Back in 2021, when ICP launched, I, like many others, was highly skeptical. It looked like a rug pull. There were questions about whether the tech was even real, and the early tokenomics certainly didn't help its reputation. But fast forward to now, and the internet computer has not only proved its legitimacy, it's quietly building one of the most revolutionary infrastructures for a decentralized internet. We've watched data centers expand, user participation grow, and developers flock to build on this ecosystem. Perhaps the most eye-opening part? The AI integration. With the recent rollout of Caffeine AI, a large language model that lives on the internet computer, we're now entering the age of voice-to-dApp development. This isn't science fiction. Developers can literally speak their ideas into existence, and the AI interprets it, creates decentralized applications, websites, or tools, and then deploys them directly on the internet computer via the decentralized cloud infrastructure. No AWS, no Google Cloud, no middlemen, just pure Web3 hosting. This is part of what Definity calls the self-writing internet, and it's not just a concept, it's already functioning. Now, not too long ago, there was the World Computer Summit, a global conference centered around the internet computer. Attendees included developers, entrepreneurs, and interestingly, professionals from traditional financial institutions. Yes, banks. And this brings us to something that might surprise a lot of people. Banks, including heavyweights like Citibank, are taking an active interest in crypto, not just as a currency or investment class, but as a technology platform. And more specifically, they're observing, learning from, and potentially testing what the internet computer is doing. Why? Well, in the middle of 2025, Citibank's chief financial officer made a bold statement. Banks are going to become the on-ramps to crypto and the digital asset economy. He pointed out that clients want access to multiple assets across borders. The financial world is going multi-asset and multi-border, and banks are adapting. But before we get into that announcement, let's rewind a bit to the World Computer Summit. At that event, a Citibank representative named Kelvin, head of product management, was seen attending and actively engaging in discussions. That's not something you do unless you're scouting the tech for integration. So Citibank isn't sitting on the sidelines. They're sending product managers, strategic decision makers, to see how internet computer technology might fit into future systems. They're studying the infrastructure, exploring use cases, and clearly taking notes. Now think about this. Do you really expect a 50-something-year-old executive who's been issuing loans for 25 years to manage decentralized tech integration into legacy banking systems? Banks need younger, tech-savvy minds to understand decentralized systems, cross-chain interactions, AI development, and user onboarding for crypto assets. They need people who can bridge the gap between old-school finance and the next wave of digital infrastructure. Kelvin from Citibank represents that new breed. And it's not just internet computer that banks are checking out. They're likely making rounds at other blockchain events too, evaluating features, testing capabilities, and determining which networks can deliver secure, scalable infrastructure that meets compliance standards. To understand how serious this is, consider JPMorgan. Their CEO, Jamie Dimon, has spent years publicly bashing crypto, calling it a scam, worthless, and a threat. But behind the scenes, JPMorgan has had its hands deep in blockchain tech. They've created their own JPM coin, developed a blockchain network, and funded Ethereum development through Consensus with tens of millions of dollars. They even donated an entire blockchain platform to Consensus. So if Citibank is now following that playbook and eyeing the internet computer as a compute layer or cloud network, we shouldn't be surprised. They see the writing on the wall. You might be thinking, wait, but isn't ICP more about computing and infrastructure than finance? And you'd be right. The internet computer isn't trying to become just another DeFi chain or Ethereum copycat. It's something more expansive. It's the cloud layer of Web3. But that's exactly why banks are interested, because while DeFi is important, the future is also about compute power, hosting, AI integration, compliance layers, and cross-border programmability. The banks are preparing for this future, and the fact that they're sending representatives to these conferences is a signal, not just to scout tech, but to plan how they will operate in a multi-chain, multi-asset, decentralized future. Of course, that raises another question. Are banks going to try to hire one team to manage all of this across different chains like Ethereum, Solana, ICP, Sui, etc.? Or are they going to build dedicated teams for each ecosystem? That decision will depend on complexity, client demand, regulation, and integration costs. But it's clear they're asking these questions and answering them with real-world testing and partnerships. Remember, banks don't build anything. They connect customers with services. So to offer these services, they need back-end infrastructure, technical teams, customer education systems, and compliance frameworks. And ICP is one of the few ecosystems offering that entire stack in a decentralized, secure way. Now let's talk numbers. The internet computer currently has a market cap of around $3 billion. For the kind of tech it's offering, that number seems off, way too low. When you compare it to meme coins like Shiba Inu or Pepe that are trading at $5 billion or more, or blockchains with limited functionality like Tron or Cardano, the gap becomes even more apparent. Even newer projects like Ondo Finance, Aptos, Sui, and BitTensor, all in the same valuation range, aren't offering the same level of integrated compute, AI, and hosting. It feels like the market hasn't caught up to what internet computer is actually doing. Will this correct eventually? Most likely. If a network is generating real-world value, the token that powers it should reflect that. And while price action might lag, long-term fundamentals always win. And if you think this is all just speculation, listen to this. Dominic Williams, the founder of Internet Computer, confirmed that Utopia, a private network layer built on ICP, is already being tested by banks outside the United States. So the implementation phase isn't in the future. It's happening now. Meanwhile, traditional banks are showing signs of wear and tear. Wells Fargo borrowed $200 billion in a single quarter just to keep the lights on. Their business model, issuing debt and profiting off interest, is fragile, especially in a world where interest rates are volatile. And all the while, banks are reaching their highest stock valuations in years, maybe decades. But how sustainable is that when the very foundations of their industry are being challenged? Just look at JPMorgan. Record highs, Bank of America, near highs, Citibank on a 5-year uptrend. But these valuations don't necessarily reflect health, they reflect legacy trust. As the world moves toward decentralized systems, that trust could erode, especially when the competition, like ICP, is offering open-source, scalable, AI-native, censorship-resistant infrastructure. So what's the takeaway? The internet computer isn't just alive, it's thriving. It's building things no other project dares to, and it has the attention of the biggest financial players in the world. Citibank didn't just stumble into the World Computer Summit. They're planning, testing, and preparing. And with projects like Caffeine AI and Utopia, ICP is offering solutions that Ethereum, Solana, and others simply can't match in scope. Right now, it might be undervalued, but the fundamentals? Absolutely strong. And with traditional banks now looking at ICP as part of their future infrastructure, the smart money is starting to pay attention. So whether you're a developer, investor, or just a crypto enthusiast trying to understand the future of the web, internet computer should be on your radar. The revolution is happening, and ICP, the so-called world computer, might just be at the center of it. So, what do you think about ICP's current position? Are you bullish on its growth in AI and DeFi? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found value in this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more breakdowns like this. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay cautious, and I'll catch you in the next one.